Here is why tip sharing absolutely freaking sucks. The amount of times that people would just take a little off the top and act like you weren't gonna notice is insane. So I used to work to goes at a local restaurant around here, and I would always be the person in the back packaging the orders, right? And you would always have somebody up front taking the orders, taking the money, taking all of that situation, right? So at the end of the night, we would do our chores, do our things, right? I had to stock the back because I worked the back, and they would have to do like the cashier, checkout, wait for the last door dashers, that situation up front, right? So at the end of the night, they would have to count up the till. I personally did not care to sit there and watch you count the money. I honestly should have, but I didn't. The amount of times that I would be like, okay, I still have shit to do, so I'm going to go in the back and do my shit. So we would, at the end of the night, have one pile and two pile. Well, one pile would be like the bigger bills, right? The 20s, the 10s, those kind of bills, right? The second pile was usually the one that I would go for, is like the 1s, the 5s, the 10s, whatever like that, you know? Well, one night I decided that I was going to go for the bigger bills, and that was always like the cashier's like pile because that's what they preferred, right? Well, one time I just went for their pile, right? And they freaked out on me, right? They freaked out on me. You could tell they're sweating. They're like over here, not even thinking. I was like, what's going on, right? So then I was like, okay, I'm going to just count, see, right? I was like, oh, this one's off by 20. And then I kept doing that for a few nights just to see, but not like consistent, because like that would throw off errors, right? So I would do it every so often, and I'm like, oh my God, it's off by 10. Oh my God, it's off by 20 again. And then I would confronted him, and he's like started sweating in his boots. And then he learned it from the other person, and I was like, oh my God, both of you been fucking me over this entire time. I love this place. And then I went to my managers about it, and they're like, we can't exactly do anything about it. And I was like, what do you mean you can't exactly do anything about it? And they're like, well, we kind of like him. And I was like, well, he kind of stole. They're like, no. And I was like, yeah. And I was like telling them the amount of times that I've caught it. And they're like, yeah, but that seems like a you issue. And then I quit.